There rocking on the balcony with a little cigar and a big wide-brimmed hat, and maybe a little funnel of whiskey. We played a bit of Slim Harpo. I'm a King Bee. Played a bit of Howling Wolf. Spoonful. Went to a bit of Slim Harpo again. Shake Your Hips, and we're just finishing off with Hound Dog with Big Mama Thornton. We are on to our very special guest this morning. It is the delightful Sammy Wilson, who I think is just literally fresh out of the ocean.
I am, yeah.
Good morning, Sammy from Sober Mates. How are you?
Good. Good morning to you.
Thanks for joining. This has been such an epic week, and I'm just really excited to have you finish off the week. To be honest, it's just been a solid lineup. So thanks for joining us, and it's good to see that you're still upkeeping the promise of swimming every morning, even though you're not with your collective group.
Yeah, not with the crew, but I did make some friends this morning. So walked up to a few strangers and said, "Can I join you?" And they let me join.
What is it? Where are you?
I'm in Portland, Southwest Victoria.
Oh, and is the ocean a fair few degrees less than Eastern Bay?
I would check that out, and I'm not sure. I think it's the same.
Oh, right. Just equally freezing.
Yeah.
Are you doing wetsuits and stuff? How are you swimming without being too open? But, you're not swimming nude.
Bikini. No, bikini.
Bikinis?
No wetsuit.
You are a nutbag. You are a nutbag. You're very quiet. I'm trying here. Someone just said you're very quiet. Anyway, Sammy, tell us a little bit about you. How I've been. Yeah, Keir said you're hardcore, and Keir is a maniac hardcore himself. Well, he's a very nice guy, but he's like a lacrosse nutbag. Smashes people for a living. Doesn't do it anymore. He reckons you're a nutbag. I reckon you're a nutbag too. Getting up at 5:30 for a swim. But something else you do excellently is a thing around Sober Mates.
Yeah.
Explain why you're called Sober Mates. Why you? What's your problem, or what do you see the problem that needs fixing? Because that's the beauty about all our guests. That's what they're doing. And tell us a little bit about Sober Mates.
So Sober is an online platform where we help you explore your relationship with alcohol. I've been sober for maybe 8 months, and when I was 6 weeks sober, I was looking for a community where I could engage with other people that don't drink in Australia, and I couldn't find one. So that's why I decided to create Sober Mates. It's an open space where you can learn about your habits, learn about your relationship with alcohol, and then engage with like-minded individuals.
So, okay, so what's the issue that you saw that needed change?
The issue that I saw is that when we turn 18, we pick up a drink, we don't look back. And I don't think we really explore why we drink. And we just, all our social events in Australia are just surrounded by alcohol. Alcohol's the focus, and I just don't think it should be. I don't think it provides any benefits. And that's what I want to help people with, is that if they're struggling with alcohol, if they're a little bit sober curious, that we provide you a space where you can explore.
Was that the real reality for you? And you just noticed everyone around you just going, well, and why? I love hearing when people, and we spoke to Cormac Evans yesterday about, he left school at 10. I always think that's a brave idea. As much as it looks upon as like, oh, naughty, he didn't even finish school. It's like something's in you that wants you to turn the other way and reinvent the wheel or go against the grain.
Yeah, it was a big thing because alcohol was so aligned to my identity. I was the organizer of the group. I was the person that brought everyone together for the parties. So it was like, I'm going to have no friends if I become sober. And that hasn't been the case at all. It's just that we do events where alcohol isn't the focus. I have engaging conversations with my friends, and my friends don't have to look after me after I've had too many. And it's a better time for them, and it's a better time for me because I hope that hangs up me the next day that I'm worried about what I've said to my friends, or just want to throw my phone against the wall because I'm too scared to see the messages that I've sent. I've had too many. So it's been really good. Like that anxiety, and the anxiety is just good for me, and knowing that I'm never going to have a hangover again, it's just the absolute benefit from giving up alcohol.
You talk about those silly things that you do that you regret the next day. I know I've got some examples in my life, not of friends that get anxious the next day.
Yeah,
that's heavy. Like that's heavy, and we continue to do it. Like even though you might be someone that gets anxious every single time. Some people do it only if they're tired or something, and some people don't. But dealing, why do we continue? What did you find the reasons in your research, and even for yourself and friends around you? Why do people still drink if it's going to end up in usually misery of some degree?
It's just that stigma. It's the stigma that sober people are boring, and that we are the minority. Like sober people are the minority in Australia. So it is about changing that conversation. It's about being okay with if someone rocks up to your barbecue with some alcohol-free beverage, is that you don't question them, you don't harass them, just let them be. It's such a non-issue. Like I just don't understand where it's like, why aren't you drinking? Come on, just have one. Like, and I was that person, so I'm a bit of a hypocrite, but I like to say that it's growth.
Yes.
And I'm a bit of a person now, but it's about changing that stigma and like just almost removing that conversation that it's not even an issue. Like if your friend isn't drinking, they're still at barbecue. They're here to socialise. I don't see what the issue is with if they don't want to hang over the next day. That's totally fine. So I think it's a big thing about opening up that conversation, and that's why we do have Mates, is to have those conversations, to learn about how to tell your mates that you're going sober. We talk about a lot of different alcohol-free brands because you don't know what's out there. There's so many wonderful alcohol-free gins and vodkas and beers, and you can take them to a party. And if you're not comfortable telling people that you're sober yet, they actually have no idea because the bottling looks so great.
Yeah, you're banging on about stuff that's super relevant, like super real. I got some comments coming in. Good on you, Sammy. I went sober for more than a year, and it's so much better for your health. Fitness was transformed, lost heaps of weight, and just felt so much better. And also, Jane Blackson, self-control and dignity are underrated these days. Oh,
absolutely.
It's definitely that moment. And hey, I enjoy a tipple. I don't anymore. I would like to say anymore. It's put to bed, but I think it's because of I can't go to pubs at the moment and stuff. It's been quite a welcomed, forceful rehab time, if you'd call that in some degree. Where whatever we were doing, coronavirus has kind of I think eliminated some habits of meeting up with people, and certainly around alcohol. Some people might have upped their take. I don't know. That's a very
interesting. There's sort of two sides of it. You found that you're a social drinker, and now that you're not being social, you don't drink as much.
Yes.
And that's been great for you, but also hasn't been great for some others because they use alcohol as a coping mechanism.
Yeah.
And when you're drinking at home, when you're pouring your own drink, they're not suspended. You're not counting how many drinks you're having, and it is so easy to go to your cupboard or your fridge to use that coping mechanism. So it is worrying that when we come out of isolation, people are going to come out with drinking problems they may not have had before isolation.
What is the reason that you've found the most common reason why humans drink?
Why humans? Well, I find it's the social thing. It's just because it's what everyone does.
Okay.
And it's a coping mechanism because people haven't learned how to deal with their emotions, and it's just easier to like switch off and use alcohol. And obviously that's not a benefit at all, and it doesn't help you because your issues are there the next day, and with that comes the anxiety. But hopefully with what I'm doing with Mates, I can teach people other coping mechanisms and other ways to deal with your issues rather than reaching the bottle.
Okay, let's go on to some then excellent. What are some suggestions? What are some tried and true methods? You probably would have tried some or thought about it. You're entering a pretty new space for yourself personally, being 8 months sober. What did you find worked? What was that checkpoint for you to go no more? And what did you go and clear your house out of all the alcohol and have like a burning party. Like, you know, you got to really make a statement to yourself sometimes with these changes.
I'm so keen for my 1 year sober party. I can't wait to have such a big celebration for this. But I toyed with the idea of giving up alcohol for about 18 months. And I didn't think I could be the social person that I am without alcohol. So what I did is I decided I would take a 3-month break from alcohol, and I would spend that entire 3 months understanding what alcohol does to my body, understanding the reasons behind drinking, reading all the books, listening to all the podcasts, and just deep diving. And I was really lucky that I was able to change my mindset around drinking, because when I thought I was giving up drinking, I thought I'd be going to parties and I'd be jealous of all my friends. I'm like, why can they drink and I can't drink responsibly? And it turns out that they actually can't either. Like, I've had so many people say to me, like, oh, like, I can shit and I have one too many as well. So if I could give anyone advice about toying with becoming sober curious or sober, is take a 3-month break, read up on the books, find out different methods to relax, but you do need to take a break, and there is no perfect time to take a break from alcohol. I had my best friend's wedding when I was 5 months sober, and it was beautiful. She got alcohol-free wine for me, so I didn't have to have any awkward conversations at the wedding. I went to the bar like everyone else. The bartenders knew that I wasn't drinking. They gave me an alcohol-free wine, and we were at the wedding, and I was talking to some of the oldies at the party, and all my friends are dancing, and I was like, oh, I can't believe we're going to drive these drunk home. And the people I was talking to were like, no, like, you're not driving. Like, you've been drinking all night. I'm like, I feel like this is alcohol-free.
Yeah.
So it's nice to know that I can still be social, and I don't need alcohol to have fun, but I'm also, if you can't realise, I'm a bit of an extrovert, and I absolutely love people. So that wasn't a worry for me, but I know introverts, they do use alcohol for that confidence boost.
Yes.
And it's just about realising that when you rock up to a party or a social situation, you don't have to be comfortable straight away. You can sort of sit in it for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Kids, when they first, like, you put two kids together that have never met, they are awkward for the first 10 minutes, and then within 20 minutes, they're running around playing with toys and stuff. And I think it's about realising that we do have all that inner kids, and it's about relearning how to be social again when you're sober, and it's about relearning what your natural highs are, because you don't get that high from alcohol anymore. You've got to find other ways. So that's why I've been jumping in the ocean. It just fills me with such joy in the morning and puts me on a high for the day.
Is that what's come from sobering up for the last 8 months, is these kind of ideas? What am I going to do?
Yeah.
I'm feeling so fresh, not anxious. I'm sharp as a tack. I can get up at 5 and I'm ready to rock.
Yeah.
That's a natural
time in your day. You get to 6 o'clock and you're like, done everything. What do I do now? So you do have so much time in the day, and it's funny, like, when you start to get into the sober community, like, people are taking up all these random hobbies and learning a new language and swimming in the bloody ocean, like, in the middle of winter. So you do come a little bit crazy, like, it's a good crazy, like, doing new stuff and trying new things out. But what I loved about these morning swims is that I know if I was still drinking, I would not have the consistency of swimming that I have. I go down to the crew 3 times a week. And we started that in July. I've never missed, like, to Friday, and we're actually training for a 1.2k swim now. So I think that when you become sober, like, your body forces you to become healthy. Like, just like, give me more. Like, let's train for 1.2k swim. I'm ready for this. So
the thought process. Yeah. Well, the thought process could be, what am I going to do with my weekends if I don't drink? Because it is actually a fair chunk of time that you dedicate to the drinking, or it could be sociable. You're going out for dinner, you're going to have a drink. Can't wait to open up a nice bottle of wine that I've been wanting to do. But then you know that, I can't wait to get through that and then have a nice whiskey. I know this thinking, like, it's been me before. Sometimes I just want to sit down and call it a week, and a way of doing it surely, I guess, is to have a sip, and it could be in your home or anything, but that next day, I don't really look at it like that. Like how many hours are related to me having that first sip? And it could be 9, 10 hours, maybe 15, 18 hours of...
But like after work drink, then you come home with your partner, have a drink with them for dinner, out for dinner Sunday night, Sunday sesh, or a barbecue, or a picnic.
Yeah.
And there's the weekend gone.
And it's it's a good sleep, but you wake up dry and then you're tired all day. You don't want your nice oats that you've been eating really healthy all week. You end up spending silly money on taxis. And I'm making it maybe more of an extreme situation around alcohol, but it can really spiral out all from that sip. But what if something? Okay, so you go on. It was your first event. You were sober. What was it like? And is it not as hard as what you think? You said you're an extrovert, so that's probably one saving grace to when you're going into a public space. Not that it's always great, because I think extroverts can balance. They can go, I don't want to be part of this. This is like not going to give me any feedback here.
Yeah, any joy or anything.
There's going to be joy and they're all annoying. Well, I'm going to, hi, Sammy here,
It was actually,
but was it easier?
Our mate Dan's 40th.
Oh, wow. I saw you had some photos in that. That was the first shot.
So it was the first big party where I didn't know anyone. I knew probably 3 or 4 people that were at the party, including Dan and Tag. So not many people at all. And Dan was super lovely. He called up the venue before the party saying, I've got a sober person coming. What sort of alcohol-free options do you have? They're very close with Dan and Tay, and they've been on the journey with me, listening to me talk about, I need alcohol-free options other than soda water when I go out for dinner. And it was great. When I got to the venue, they actually had an alcohol-free gin.
Oh, cool.
So we had gin and tonics, and they put some nice things in there, so it was like a bit of a cocktail. And it was actually a great conversation starter, because Dan and Tay had a bar tab for the usual beer and wine. My drink was obviously different to everyone else's, so it was a great conversation starter. And it was a bit nerve-wracking because I didn't know anyone. I didn't know what people were going to perceive me as. But I think it was a great opening, because they didn't know me. I could just be whoever I wanted to be, and they just had to stay for that. So it was really good. I know there's going to be some hard times, and I went sober only a bit over a month before isolation, so I really haven't been tested enough.
Sure.
When you think about it, like, I've spent most of it home, and I've got rid of all the alcohol in the house, so I've replaced it with all alcohol-free stuff. So whenever I have got an urge, I open the fridge and I can have a glass of rosé, and I just know it's not going to hurt me. Then it's okay. But I know this summer's going to test me, so maybe sometimes I'll have some harsher how we go. I think everyone's been really nice so far, and it has been a real help having sober mates as well, because it pushes me to do better, and it just helps with the community as well.
I think you also scratch the surface then on your. It's important. It's going to challenge some friendships, and it might even expose them as being, are they mainly based on drinking together? What have you got other than drinking together? Would be a very valid thing to be aware of. Going, I kind of always hang out with that person and drink. I would be very interested to see. Have you lost any friends, and or has your friendships changed? Did you ever have just drinking buddies, or were you kind of your friendships were pretty substantial and authentic anyway? So your friends have generally been pretty good.
I've got a really good supportive circle. They've been great through this, but I have found that our social events were surrounded, alcohol was the centre focus.
Yes.
So going to wineries and going to events and things, it has been a bit of a change thinking going forward. And I've had that time to really think about this is how do I hang out with my friends again? Because I still want to be, and the worrying thing is that I'm happy to go to a bar. I still want to go to a bar, I still want to hang out. I still want to be invited, guys. If my friends are listening, still be friends with me.
That's the thing, hey? They might not want you around.
I know that there are people that I haven't hung out with during isolation, but I know that I will post-isolation thinking, I only hang out with you when I drink, because I can really stand you when I've had a few drinks. So, I only think we've got nothing to talk about, and we're going to have a few drinks, and somehow the conversation flows. So, I think it's not that I've lost any friends. I think my tight group is super supportive, but I've also gained a lot of friends. So like with Dan and I and Tay creating this swimming crew, people that walk past have loved what we're doing and they've come down the following Friday and they've dated. So I've gained a lot of friends being sober. And I thought it'd be really hard to make new friends. I think I gave up alcohol. I'm in my late 20s, so I've really given up alcohol in the height of my social days.
Yeah, sure.
And I thought it'd be really hard to make friends, and it's working out all right. So we'll hopefully we'll continue to.
And so let's move over to your website, your what kind of resources are available. I love your social media. It's really bold messaging, just in a few words, stating something, a feeling.
So we want to create easy to digest content. So we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we've got our website. We want to be, when you're scrolling on Instagram, you can see our bright, bold colours. You can easily digest whatever we're talking about on that night and just take it in. I've had friends message me like, I love your page, but I'm like looking at the page, drinking a glass of wine. I'm like, that is totally fine. Like you're exploring your like alcohol, you have about why you drink, like that's what we want. So I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a counsellor, I'm not here to take you on an addiction journey because that is not what I'm for.
Yes.
We do suggest like mental health organisations to go to. What we're here for is that we have lived experience.
Yes.
I gave up my drinking in my late 20s. I'm a social person. I'm Australian. And I want to continue the lifestyle that I have, but I want to do it whilst I'm being sober. So we just provide that easy to read content and make the community is beautiful. We have like so many wonderful polls where we give each other advice, and then also what we do is we have a monthly beverage partner, which is an Australian brand creating alcohol-free drinks, and it's great to show that off to our community because it's educating them on different types of drinks they can take to social events.
Can you just say that again? That just cut out for that split second you said their brand name.
Yep. So our beverage partner of the month this month is Non.
Oh, you have a beverage partner every month. Gotcha.
Every month, yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, you can scroll back through our posts and check out all the different brands that we've had on board, and there's someone new every month.
So who's the brand for, what are we, October? Who's the brand for this month?
So Non is our beverage partner of the month this month, and they create beautiful, really bold flavored. They're adult beverage. They look like a wine.
It's called Non. Here we go.
Yeah.
It's made in Melbourne.
Yes.
That looks cool. That looks like something that I don't know if you know Nathan from Cartel. That looks like a natural wine bottle. Like they call them natties.
Like their flavors are pretty, like they're bold flavors and really innovative what the guys are doing. And they're foodies, so it tastes really good. I know like a lot of people with alcohol-free wine are a bit iffy, but these guys, they taste great.
I'm reading it now. It says, the result of an exploration into the unique and unpredictable, a chef's provocative interpretation of flavours without comparison or compromise, often complex, often personal. Non offers drinkers the opportunity to reframe enjoyment, sourcing the best ingredients from the most renowned growing regions, developed to expand non-alcoholic options. I think I'm going to look up. This is online. They've got free shipping in Australia. If you're listening now and you are sussing out non-alcoholic options, just type in non.world. Again, branding's great. I can see why
your brand's great. Like, they're sexy.
And that's important, isn't it? To not get it dorky, because that will probably hit like, that is just, I'm not taking. It's quite clearly something non-alcoholic. You're going to walk in with your bunch of flowers in a glass to a party. At least it looks cool, so you're encouraged.
You're encouraged. It can either be that some brands, they look so like alcohol that no one will notice, or they look so cool that it's a conversation starter, so you can go either way.
I love it. They got salted raspberry chamomile, caramelized pear and kombu, toasted cinnamon and yuzu. I love yuzu sauce. It's like a Japanese lemon sauce. Roast beetroot and sencho. What is going on here? Lemon marmalade and hibiscus. This is all non-alcoholic wines. Are they fizzy? Have you tried them?
Yeah, so like a wine. Not, the one I've tried haven't been kissing, so I haven't tried them all yet. We'll be putting up a video on Stomates next week with me doing a test of all of them. And then at the end of the month, we are doing a competition where you could a box of them on as well.
That is cool. T-Roy, Sam here tuning in. Sam who? I don't know who you are. Your handle name says Damn Buckets. I don't even know who that is. It's always hard when people's usernames, they're really cryptic and they go, hey, mate, it's someone here. I've got no idea who you are. Sammy, it's just about 8 o'clock. What have you got on for the rest of the day and the weekend? Are you just going to be all sober and boring?
No, well, I day off.
Cool.
So, yeah, my mum and I are having a girls' weekend, so we're heading to Vaughan.
Cool. Oh, you're down the coast anyway, aren't you?
Yeah.
Lovely. Oh, that's so nice. Hey, Sam, so people can go to your website, get some resources, talk to you. It's not just for people in their 20s. It is literally just for people that want to have a different relationship with alcohol.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the prerequisite.
You can find us at Soapmates on Instagram. You can search our Soapmates page on Facebook and www.soapmates.com.au.
Someone just said roast beetroot and Sancho looks the go. Oh, I thought that was the one that was a bit risky. Beetroot wine. Yeah?
Yeah.
And just be wary when you go to the toilet that you've had beetroot and you don't need to go to the doctors. I've always got tricked when I've had beetroot and you go to the toilet. Sorry to turn this into a toilet story. And you're like, do I need to go to the doctors? No, that's right. I had beetroot this morning. It's all good. All good. Don't have problems. Sammy, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm gonna take out this interview with some of your favourite music, Glass Animals.
Yes.
Oh, give you that. I'm gonna play Heat Waves. Is that all right?
Oh my god.
Oh my god, so good.
Thank you
so much. Thanks for joining. If you just